Hi guys, in this video I'm going to teach you how to warm up for any upper body strength session. So the aim of a warm up is first of all to increase your body temperature and increase your heart rate. That is one of the main goals of a warm up, but that is not the only goal. Something else we want to think about are the joints that we're going to be using when we're training, so the joints in the workout, and the warm up should be built around those joint movements. So the first exercise that we're going to do is light cardio, and for this I've chosen skipping, but you can choose any form of light cardio here. It literally is just 5 minutes of cardio to increase your heart rate and get your temperature up. It doesn't want to be too intense. You're not trying to knacker yourself out here. You just want to kind of get your heart rate up above 120 beats per minute. So the first dynamic stretch that we're going to do is a shoulder flexion stretch up against the wall. So we're going to stand in front of the wall at arm's length, and we're going to place our hands on the wall at shoulder height. From here, we're going to hinge backwards and we're pushing down until our arms come overhead. So imagine you're replicating an overhead position here. You should feel the stretch in your lats and in your thoracic spine as well. I want you to breathe out when you're going into the stretch, and then as you're coming back up to the standing position, you're going to inhale. And we're going to go for 12 reps. One thing to be aware of when you're doing this is that you don't want to pack your shoulder blades down. You actually want to shrug upwards, elevate your scapula so that you can really open up the shoulder joint, and that's going to allow you to go into a deeper shoulder flexion. If this is uncomfortable and you feel restricted, then only work through your range of motion. Don't try to stretch to the exact angle that you see me stretching to in this video. Just work within your current range of motion, what is comfortable for you. So next up, in the exact same position using the wall, we're going to do a thoracic extension stretch. For this, you just want to step slightly closer to the wall, and you want to begin with your arms up overhead, as I am in the video here. Again, we want to be pushing the shoulder blades up so they're not packed down, so that we can open up the shoulders. But the main focus of this stretch is actually the upper spine. So leaving the hips behind us, as you can see in the video, we're going to lean towards the wall, and imagine you're trying to bring your sternum or your chest towards the wall until the point where you feel that stretch in your upper back. From there, we're just going to push our hands into the wall and bring ourselves back up into the starting position. Again, thinking about your breathing when you're doing this, you want to be exhaling on the way down so the muscles are relaxing, and inhaling on the way back up. So always exhale on the stretch. We're going to perform 12 reps. So far, we have covered the upper back and we've covered the shoulders. So now we're going to move on to the wrists, and to do this, we're going to go down on our hands and knees, and we're going to place our hands flat on the ground with our arms nice and straight. Push your hands into the ground and protract through your scapula. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to lean forward into the stretch until you feel that end range of motion in wrist extension. Don't go to a point where you feel any pinching or any pain. We're then going to push our hands down into the ground and push away from the stretch, coming back to the starting position. So we're essentially, as we lean forward into the stretch, we're actually pulling ourselves into the stretch, and then we're pushing ourselves out of the stretch. Again, as you're pulling yourself into the stretch, I want to think about your breath. So you're exhaling when you're going into the stretch, and as you come back out, you're inhaling, getting your breath back. We're going to go for 12 reps, nice and slow, nice and controlled. So the fourth exercise is for the spine. So now we're not focusing specifically on the upper spine, we're actually going to be using the entire spine here. And to do this, we're going to do cat-cow from the exact same position. And then we're going to go up into the cat stretch to begin with. So you can see that I've completely flexed my spine. I'm pulling my belly button up in towards my spine. I'm tucking my chin under, and I'm feeling that stretch throughout the entire spine. From here, I'm going to do the exact opposite. I'm actually going to start pulling my belly button down towards the ground, my chest down towards the ground, and I'm lifting my neck upwards, my head backwards, so I'm extending the entire spine. Again, I don't want you to force this position. I want you to use your muscles to control this movement your abs, your core muscles. That's what's going to be controlling the movements of the spine. So we're going to go nice and slow. The breathing should just be thinking about shallow breathing throughout the entire movement, okay? So I don't want you to focus on exhaling or inhaling at a specific point. I just want you to continue breathing throughout this movement to ensure that you are providing your body and your muscles with enough oxygen throughout the movement. We're going to go for 12 reps in total. So for the final dynamic stretch, we are going to be doing thoracic rotation. Again, focusing on the spine, but this time instead of flexion and extension, we're actually going to be working rotation of the upper spine, a movement that is so common and you're going to need it for any upper body strength session. So to begin with, we're going to start on our hands and knees like the other exercises, and I want you to place one of your hands on the back of your head. You don't want to pull down on your head to the point where you're actually bending your neck. Just try to keep your neck neutral throughout this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring our elbow down towards our arm, this arm that's straight on the ground, and then we're going to open up and bring our elbow up towards the sky as much as we can, rotating through the spine, and then back down. And that will be 1 rep. And we're going to go for 12 of those. The breathing with this should be focusing on exhaling as we're opening up into that stretch, and then inhaling as we come down out of the stretch. Nice and controlled, nice and slow. If you get any pain throughout the movement, just limit your range of motion. If there's too much pain to do the movement, then just completely skip it altogether. We're well into the warm-up now. So what we've done is our cardio to get our heart rate up. We've now done the joint-specific exercises to target range of motion in the joints that we're gonna be using in the upper body strength session. Next, we're going to work rotation of our joints, and to do this, we are going to use controlled articular rotations. The first exercise that we're going to do is shoulder CARs. Shoulder CARs are great for taking the shoulder joint throughout its full range of motion. So to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to start standing up. Okay, from this position here, I want your arms down by your side, and then we're going to create a fist. Okay, we're creating a fist, we're squeezing, we're pushing our shoulder blades down. We're going to lift our arms up, and it's coming in towards the midline of the body, keeping the arms nice and straight, and we're moving up overhead into shoulder flexion, so nice and high until your shoulders or until your bicep is kind of in line with your ear, so directly overhead. If you can't get this far, don't worry about it. We're then going to open up, so we're reaching up with the scapula, elevating and rotating, internally rotating and reaching down behind us here. We're coming all the way down behind us until we're into shoulder extension. We're then going to do the exact same in reverse, pushing up into shoulder extension. We're then rotating around and bringing the arm down across the midline of the body and back into the side. So a really simple way to think about this is you're drawing a big circle with your shoulder joint, or you're taking your shoulder joint, like I said, through its full range of motion. This should be done slow and controlled, and we're only going to go for 3 reps on each side. So that's 3 full rotations. So the other controlled articular rotation exercise that we are doing is Scapula CARs, and this is to take your shoulder blade or your scapula also through their full range of motion. So we're going to go into protraction, elevation, retraction, and depression. So we're going to be working all of the movements or all of the functions of that joint. So to begin with, just get yourself comfortable. I like to do this seated so that you're not compensating in the rest of your spine. You can do it standing up if you want to. Exact same breathing technique here. So exhale and then inhale, fill your diaphragm up, create tension. From here, we're going to protract the scapula by pushing forward. We're going to elevate the scapula, we're going to retract the scapula, and then we're going to depress the scapula. We're going to do this for 3 reps. So in the same direction. So again, we're going to protract, elevate, retract, and depress. Once we've done 3 of these, we're going to do it in the exact same way, but in the opposite direction. So now we're going to, starting from protraction, we're going to retract our scapular blades back. We're going to elevate them upwards, we're going to protract them forwards, and we're going to depress them downwards. So we're just doing an entire rotation, but in the opposite direction. We're doing 3 of those as well. So we're pretty much rounding off our warm up now, but what I like to always do before I go into my first working set of my workout is I like to throw some kind of posterior strengthening exercise into the routine. So for this, because today I am working shoulders, so I'm doing upper body push session, I'm going to incorporate face pulls. So I'm just going to set my band up on something strong. It's going to be just a little bit lower than shoulder height. And then from here, I'm going to step back and create some tension. I don't want too much tension. I want to be able to pull my elbows back and my hands back into shoulder external rotation as if I'm pulling that band towards my face. So if there was a band going across your face, you would touch your forehead. That's kind of how far you want to pull. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to start with our arms straight. We're going to depress and retract our scapula. And we're then going to pull our elbows back and our hands up towards our forehead. Okay, once you've gone as far as you can, we're just going to bring that back into the start position, nice and controlled, so those arms lock out. Always before every rep, set the scapula, okay, down and back, and then pull. And you should feel that the muscles in the back of your shoulder are engaging here. We're going to keep this fairly light, and we're going to go for 3 sets of 15 reps with a light weight. So this is a template that we use for any warm-up, whether it's upper body or lower body. We always kind of follow this template of doing the cardio to warm us up, and then we'll do the 5 dynamic stretches, then we'll do our controlled articular rotations, our activation drills, and then we're going to go straight into the warm-up sets before our working sets. So this can really be applied to any workout. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, then please subscribe and let us know in the comments below if there are any other topics that you would like us to cover in the coming months.